Cybercrime is on the rise, and hackers are getting smarter every day. From phishing scams to ransomware attacks, criminals are after your devices and your money. So how do you fight back? One of the best defenses is solid antivirus software. It blocks suspicious websites and stops hackers before they can do any damage. A healthy dose of skepticism when opening emails or clicking links doesn't hurt either. But for the antivirus help you need, I trust and recommend Total AV. They update you in real time, keeping you protected from the latest threats. Go to protectwithkim.com now and get Total AV for just $19 for the first year. It covers up to 5 devices, including Windows, Macs, and smartphones. That's protectwithkim.com. Don't wait until it's too late. Your security matters. Get protected now. Go to protectwithkim.com for my exclusive deal with Total AV. Just $19 for the first year. That's protectwithkim.com. 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 Hi, Kim Komando here. Prepare to be amazed. We're doing something special, something different, because I want you to actually try my Kim Komando show. You know, that's the big weekend show. So here's hour 2. It is actually a 4-hour production. But here's hour 2 of the show. I want you to try it out. Now, if you totally love it, and I know that you will, wherever you get your podcasts, I want you to search for The Kim Komando Show, with a K, of course.
You're listening to The Kim Komando Show for the weekend of April 19th, 2025. Here's hour 2.
Okay, this is an amazing story. A Ferrari F8 valued at $575,000. Okay, obviously a supercar was stolen, but it was retrieved because of AirPods. What? How did this go down? Okay, thieves took the hot rod in Greenwich, Connecticut, but the owner had left a pair of AirPods inside. The police tracked the stolen ride with Find My down to a gas station, but the driver took off. So here's a bit of irony. It turns out the thief left his iPhone behind, which made it easy for the police to come find him. Okay. Find my thieves, find my stuff. Hey, I hope you're ready, folks, because today it's all about tech, and I'm going to tell you everything that you need to know to stay tech ahead, because after all, I don't want you left tech behind in the digital dust, because I'm Kim Komando, and it's my job to do that. And you have just found the biggest show, the best show, the most trusted show about all things digital. You can find me on over 420 top stations across the United States. I'm in your favorite radio app. Just search for my last name, Komando, with a K, of course. And you can now get the Kim Komando Show as a podcast. That's right. Just search for Komando in your favorite podcast player. And a special shout out goes to all of our listeners on the American Forces Network Radio. I'm talking about all the servicemen and women in the Army, the Navy, the Air Force, the Marine Corps, the Coast Guard, and the Space Force who are listening to us right now. And great sponsors help to make this show possible. And I always negotiate the best deals. And in case you're looking for the promo codes and the links, there's only one place you need to go, komando.com/sponsors. That's komando.com/sponsors. Every single day, weekends, national holidays, of course, during the week, I go over to at least 35 different sources to make sure that we know what's going on in the tech world. And here are the top 5 things that you need to know right now. And we're going to start with that our younger social media generation has discovered Adolf Hitler. Yes, you heard me right, Adolf Hitler. In November, a young TikTok user with only a few hundred followers posted a video of herself reading portions of Osama bin Laden's letter to America, where he justified the 9/11 attacks, killing more than 3,000 Americans. That video went viral. And now another TikTok young user has posted an edited, colorized version of one of Adolf Hitler's speeches. AI translated Hitler's voice to English. And there are so many of these that are floating online. You need to talk to your kids about this. Here, take a listen.
My work, you think is right. Whether you believe that I have been diligent, that I have worked hard, that I have consistently advocated for you in these past years, and that I have conducted myself with decency, I have devoted my time in the service of my people's welfare. Please cast your vote now.
Okay, it goes on. And you can watch it on YouTube if you want. Just go ahead and search for it. But the really disturbing part of this for me is that these videos are receiving millions of views. Millions of views. And a large number of them are positive and sympathetic as far as the comments. So many say that Adolf Hitler sounds reasonable. did he really do what he did? I don't believe it. Okay, wow. A false revision of history is very, very dangerous. Moving on to number 2, have you used a chat bot and got advice on your mental health, medical issues, or relationships? A lot of folks are doing this, but you need to stop. A story in The Atlantic revealed a man's chat with ChatGPT was included in a research data set called Wild Chat. The man from Washington was talking about his struggling marriage, typing things like, I'm depressed, I'm going crazy, I still love her, and I want to win her back. And he shared all these intimate details, thinking they were going to be private, but guess what? They were not. So isn't ChatGPT supposed to be private? Not really. OpenAI says they don't share your conversations unless required by law. But if you sign away your rights by not reading the terms and conditions, companies can still use that data to train AI, and we don't know where that ends up. Moving on to number 3, when is 5G really 5G? The Washington Post had a great story out this past week that even though your phone may say 5G, it's a reminder that you may only be getting LTE or even 4G service. So how can you tell if you're really getting 5G? Now, on T-Mobile, it's going to show up as 5G UC. AT&T displays 5G in the letter E. On Verizon, it's 5G in the letters UW. So why would a 5G icon appear when it's not really 5G? It's the way that the network has been configured. But the network can supply 5G, so you're not really being misled. Moving on to number 4. Oh my gosh, I hate going to the dentist, but that's how I have to keep these pearly whites. And so when I got this story, I was like, I need to tell my friends about this. Micro robots. These are tiny iron oxide particles that look like a toothbrush, a floss, and a mouthwash, and little tiny things that you're going to put in your mouth. This is where the future's coming. They're going to clean your teeth better than an electric toothbrush. And you just put it in your mouth. They're going to go all around, all around, all around, all around. Then there's oral bacteria transplants. They found someone who doesn't floss or go to the dentist but still has perfect teeth. Their mouth bacteria might prevent decay. So scientists are figuring out how to transfer this bacteria to somebody else within the next year. Next up is red light therapy, a tooth implant that uses chewing to power this light, which kills bacteria and protects your gums. No batteries, just have to chew. And finally, a new drug that could help you actually grow new teeth. Yes, it blocks a protein called USAG1. It's already worked on mice, helping them regrow missing teeth. Human trials are next, and then they're going to win a ton of awards, and then they're going to get a little plaque. Ooh, ouch. Finally, this coming in at number 5. How much do you really spend on your phone? How much time? How much time do you spend on your phone? For most people, it's about 4 hours and 37 minutes a day. Whoa, 6 days a month, lost to scrolling. So that's why these screen time management apps are becoming really popular. One that I saw recently is called ClearSpace. If you're trying to check Facebook Marketplace, you have to complete a quick breathing exercise, and then you set time limits. And when your time is up, ClearSpace gives you a nudge to say, you know what, that's enough. You need to take a break. It even gets more intense. They're testing a new feature that shows how much time your friends are spending on their phones, broken down by apps. Wow. So if you're curious how much time your friend Johnny is spending on TikTok, you can find that out. They're hoping that that's frightening or probably more embarrassing of a fact that you might be sharing with somebody to just put that device down. All right, coming up, we're going to tell you can get some free cash by just giving out your opinions. Yeah, there are some ways to do that. Also, how you can shop international sites to get better prices. And what about that sleep score? Is it really worth checking? And of course, we have just the best callers ever. You don't want to miss that. And me, Kim Komando. Hey, I just want to say thank you because, well, about a couple of years ago, I started a new newsletter called The Current. And right now, this is just crazy. Over 600,000 people every single day get The Current. How do you sign up? Really simple. You go to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. And by the way, you don't have to worry. I'm not going to sell, lease, distribute your email address to anybody ever. So just go ahead and sign up now. You're going to love it. Head to getkim.com. Once again, that's getkim.com. All right, let's see. How about we start with Rosemary in Naples, Florida. Happy to have you with us. Hi there.
A couple of weeks ago, you mentioned how to, when you're going through TSA, how to block the camera. so they didn't take a digital picture of you. And the next day I was traveling, and I was like, well, why do I want to do that? Why wouldn't I want TSA to have my picture, knowing that they probably have it from my application, passport has it, things like that?
Well, some people are really into privacy. And even though, like you said, TSA, they have your photos. And of course, there's so much biometric and facial recognition that's happening as you even walk through the airport. I mean, I'm sure you realize this, those big long hallways are not just big long hallways getting you from one place to another. Those big long hallways are so that this way they can do some instant facial recognition in the airports, right? They can see who's exactly getting off the plane, entering their country. Of course, we do need the big long hallways, but there's a lot of tech that's happening in those hallways. But a certain number of people who subscribe to the newsletter, they get the show and the podcast, is that they're really concerned about privacy. So that's why I throw in those tips every once in a while, because with TSA, they use what's called advanced imaging technology. I mean, you know this, right? I mean, they take the image of your body for security reasons, so that when you go to TSA and they say, here, put your face in front of this biometric scanner, that you can say, no, I really don't want to. And then you don't have to. The last thing I want to do is fight with a TSA agent. I mean, a lot of them are great. And I mean, would you want that job, Rosemary?
Not in the least. Absolutely not. No.
No, I would not want that job. So, and so anytime I look at, somebody who's in that position, I just, I'm always, of course, we're always courteous, we're nice, thankful for them to do their job. And then hopefully you'll get that consideration back. You don't always, right?
Did you know that Fast Growing Trees is America's largest online nursery? Yup, over 6,000 varieties of indoor and outdoor plants, plus more than 2 million happy customers. Whether you're after fruit trees, evergreens, houseplants, or something unique, they've got it all. No matter what your yard looks like or what your dreaming could be, Fast Growing Trees has you covered. I ordered an avocado tree for my backyard, and it's perfect. No green thumb, no problem. On top of their Alive and Thrive guarantee, they offer free plant consultation forever. Save 90% on landscaping costs when you DIY and get plants delivered directly from fastgrowingtrees.com. Right now, save up to 50% on select plants. And as a Kim Komando listener, you get an additional 15% off your first purchase when you use code KIM at checkout. That's an additional 15% off at fastgrowingtrees.com using code KIM. That's fastgrowingtrees.com for an additional 15% off using the code KIM.
Right. I mean, no, they were great when I went up recently, as I said, and I hesitated. Should I block my face? In the end, I let them do it because I thought it was easier than pulling my ID out. I'm always, you're going through those TSA lines and they got you grabbing things left and right. And you're always so afraid you're going to lose something at that moment.
Yeah, for sure. And you're going to put something, down, and somebody else is going to pick it up on the other end, right?
Yeah. And so even just dropping something at that point because you're moving stuff and all that. So I was like, I like this thing. Where is the risk of letting them take your biometrics?
They have it all. I don't. They have it all. Hey, did you hear about the new Gen Zer trend that's going through TSA? Have you heard about this?
No.
Okay. All right. Okay. So just imagine you're getting on that plane that you just got on the other day, right? Okay. The lines are so long, and people are already rushed to get through these lines. But in front of you, Rosemary, I want you to picture. In front of you is a Gen Zer who gets that bin, and they take off their watch, they take off their, get their phone out of their pocket, the scarf, the hat, whatever they have. And they neatly arrange it in that bin so all the logos are facing up, Rosemary. Okay. So if it's a Yves Saint Laurent bag, it's going to have that logo. If it's going to be an iPhone, we're going to see that. You follow me, the whole dress.
Yeah.
Okay. So now you're just waiting behind them. Okay, and they are meticulously arranging everything in that bin. Then they stand back and they take about 20 pictures of it. So that,
and you're behind them.
yeah, so that this way they can put that on social for credit. I mean, for social, credit. And then they can ask all of their friends, do you think I packed too much? Okay. So I would have less patience with them than the TSA agents, that's for sure. So in case you're wondering and you're traveling and you start seeing a whole bunch of Gen Zers doing exactly what I said, now you know it's a social media viral trend. All right, I'm so excited. I started something new with the show because innovate to evaporate, and that's voice memos. That's when you can make a voice memo with your phone and then just email it to me. And then I'm going to play it here on the show and just answer it. So again, just send a voice memo to me with your question to podcasts@komando.com. That's podcasts@komando.com. So I got this one the other day from a very nice man with a quick question.
You recommended Libre a little while ago. I have Word, Microsoft Word, and I have over 1,000 saved Word files, Bible studies that I don't want to lose. Can I still access those through Libre? Thank you.
Okay, if you don't know, LibreOffice is a free open source office suite. It directly competes against the paid version of Microsoft Office. So you get Writer, which is Microsoft Word, Calc, Excel, Impress is PowerPoint, Draw is this graphics editor, as you might expect. Base is a database program, and Math, well, it's for math formulas. So LibreOffice is available for free on a lot of platforms, Windows, Mac, and even Linux. So if you have some Microsoft Word docs and you're trying to bring them into LibreOffice, really easy to do. Just go to File and then Open, find your Microsoft Office documents, select it, and then you open it, and then it's just there right on the screen. It's really super easy to do. And let me tell you, it's totally compatible. You're not going to lose a lot of formatting either. So again, it's just under File and then Open. Now, if you want to send me your voice memo, and thank you, sir, for doing that, just go ahead and record it with your phone and then send it to podcasts@komando.com. And I listen to every single one. But here's the deal. Give me your name and where you're calling from, because I'd love to know that. Once again, record your voice memo and then send it to me at podcasts@komando.com. All right, still to come, how you can make some money by just giving out your opinion. You can do that here on the Kim Komando Show. Okay, we all have opinions. Well, what if somebody would actually pay you for your opinions? Well, Google will actually do that. I'm going to tell you more about that. And then later on, how you can shop international sites to maybe get some lower prices on your gear, especially your electronics. And before we get to more of your phone calls and that, let's talk about your sleep score, because your smartwatch tracks your workouts, your steps, and it even follows you to bed to make sure that you're sleeping well. Well, is it really doing that? So many of us rely on our smartwatches for this, but it cannot accurately tell you if you're sleeping well. For that, it would really need to have a whole bunch more tech. Like, it would have to analyze your brain waves, not exactly something on your wrist that can do that. So how can you get good sleep? It's not just by tracking it. That practice, research says, might even be causing more anxiety and make your sleep cycle worse. So what do you want to do? Keep your bedroom dark and quiet and cool, and stick to a consistent sleep schedule, even on the weekends. You want to avoid your electronics right before bed. I know, very hard to do, even for me. And that means turning off the television too. It's tough. Let's see. Back to the phones we go. Lena in Newark, New Jersey. Glad to have you with us.
I've been up under attack for several years now. I just can't figure out how to get up out of this. They have gone through my contact list. So although that I changed my phone number and other devices, they are able to circumvent and capture my information all over again. When I say tracking, I'm talking about to the extreme, where they set up the blue link on my vehicle and monitoring my comings and goings and my location at all times to break it into my home. I'm talking about from my son's device, girlfriends, friends, and family devices. Is there any way for me to get around this? How would I pursue this legally?
So who do you think it is?
It's my ex-husband, and he's working with a lady that works for Apple IT support. So she is very savvy into backdooring into systems.
But now he's into the kid stuff, and you mentioned your car?
Yes, Blue Link, yes. They activated account for Blue Link on my own vehicle. I wasn't aware.
It's actually, it's Lena, it's Bluetooth, just to let you know.
Bluetooth.
Just Bluetooth.
Bluetooth. Something prompted me. I read your article. I said, let me look into this. And I did some investigation, and I called them. They verified, yes, it was activated. To my surprise, I'm always trying to figure out how are they keeping up with my whereabouts, and that was one of the resources they were using.
So did you go to the police?
I've been to the police. I done filled out several reports. FTC, I even tried to get a restraining order with the judge in Union County, New Jersey. No luck with that. It's been ongoing for years. And each time that I reach out and make an effort into slowing them down or getting some type of help, some type of recourse, they come back even heavier next time. So it may be a price for me to pay even just by speaking to you guys on this line here.
I'm sorry to hear that, Lena. That's got to be gut-wrenching and hard to sleep at night if all this is going on, right?
It is. It is very much so.
So why do you think you can't move on?
I don't know. This is a person.
Why is he doing this?
This is a personal vendetta. And part of the reason why I sold my home, but he wasn't there when I purchased the home, and there was no proceeds for him at the end of the day. You know, I don't care what's the reason why, but you don't attack other people. I have family and friends that work for the government, the state, and Homeland Security, compromising their devices. So if you want to direct it at me, that's fine. But when you start going those routes and affecting other people's devices, which affect their work, then we got a problem.
So what are give me like just one or two concrete examples where you're like, okay, yeah, this is happening.
Okay. For one, when I start my phone, I always get the no service, and then it kicks in. That's right there. It's a clear indication. You hear clicking on the background. You know, when I'm speaking to people on the phone, you can hear like somebody's clicking in. That's another source. Looking at my device, my son I bought a new tablet. He was setting it up. He had his phone setting next to the tablet at the time of setup. So when he went back in to put the password in, it would not accept. And he's looking strange, like, you know, I know this is what I entered, but he had to redo it again. And I'm telling him it was his device that's being compromised. If you take your phone and lay it next to a tablet, they're able to scan for the IP address. He had his Bluetooth on at that particular time. Information was captured, wasn't able to get into the system. It locks me out. This is let me just say this. Mortgage, they compromised my information. So they have my Social Security number. They have all that information. They submitted an unemployment claim in my name, attempt to get a mortgage 3 times in my name. They have closed out one of account that I had set up, which was a gold account. They gain access to that, and I can no longer access that. I mean, even down to changing a bank PIN number, so I wasn't able to use my debit card. I mean, this is extensive. What I've been going through.
You've got a lot. You know, I think you've got to take this to a higher level.
Yes, I do.
I mean, this Cyber Civil Rights Initiative, which is at it's at cybercivilrights.org, just at cybercivilrights.org, okay? But I think, Lena, you need to go see a lawyer who specializes in family law and stalking and harassment.
Okay.
Because somehow you need to get some legal action going against these folks who are causing you to live in a living hell, right?
Yeah.
The number is 844-878-2274. Okay. Or you can go online to cybercivilrights.org. Once again, that's cybercivilrights.org. But I really think that there's more things that you need to be doing, like to consult with that lawyer, somebody who specializes in stalking and harassment and family law and can get you the right information to the right hands so that this way there may be some legal action that may be taken against these folks. Now, we do have a friend of the show. His name is Rico Danielson. And this is what Rico does for a living, not just for individuals, but for major corporations. Now, I'm not sure what he charges, but you can check out his web address at ricohd.us. Again, Rico Danielson at ricohd.us. And Lena, if there's anything else that I can lend a hand to, I'm here for you. All right, still to come, we have more of your phone calls as well as how you can shop international sites to save some money here on the Kim Komando Show. David in Portland, Maine, glad to have you with us. Hi there, David.
Hi, Kim. How are you?
Good. What's going on?
We have sort of a family compound. There's 3 cottages, sleeping cabin, garage, boathouse, all on like 4 or 5 acres on the lake. And we've got Starlink now, which has been great. They're putting fiber on the road. There's about 10 miles of fiber coming in. So in another month or two, hopefully we'll be hooked up to that. But I have a mesh network that is sort of marginal, and I wanted to give you a shout and see whether you had any better suggestions. Something we put in 4 or 5 years ago. I think it's TP-Link EAP 225.
And then, so what is it? What does it not do, or what is it doing that you don't like?
Well, the biggest thing you notice is it'll work fine for a week, and then it shows disconnects and isolated nodes. It's definitely slower than the Starlink connection. If I connect directly to the Starlink Wi-Fi, it's 2 or 3 times as fast. So I'd like to get faster, especially since we're getting the fiber, but also the disconnects. That we're on 4 or 5 acres. There's a lot of trees.
That's right. I was just going to ask you, how far apart are the buildings?
Most of them within 100 or 200 feet, but there's a couple that are out, 300 or 400 feet. In one case, in order to make it work with the existing system, I mounted a birdhouse on a tree and ran power out to it with a underground cable, and mounted one of the mesh network units out there. So it is a distance problem. So I don't know.
Well, I think what I would recommend is, and I've used this myself. There's a company by the name of Ubiquiti, UBIQUITI, Ubiquiti. And if you search my website with that word, I bet you will see the solution that I put together. What happened was I was building a house, okay? And believe it or not, I'm in central Phoenix, and there was no coax cable coming to this house, okay? Like, what? It's such a big city. And Starlink, guess what, was not available yet at that address. So, and knowing that you could get a cellular security camera, I didn't want to do that because I want to put security cameras all around. And I didn't want to rely on LTE or 4G, whatever it may be, right? So I had a buddy of mine who had a house I have a buddy whose house was lying from bird sight view. I could see his house, but a canyon separated us, and he was 1,800 feet away. So I had to get his internet connection over to my house. Okay. So what Ubiquiti does is they basically, without getting overly technical, is that his house, he put a dish, and at my house, I put a receiver. And I had a beautiful internet connection that worked flawlessly.
Okay. So we'd have to put dishes on each one of the houses that pointed at each other, and then... Yes,
exactly. And it's so it's the Ubiquiti Unify system, UNIFI system. It's really made to do like point-to-point connection, so you could do building-to-building bridges, and it can shoot signals directly between buildings. Fully customizable, very reliable. Now, of course, there's always a downside. Okay, what's the downside? Downside is this can get pretty expensive. But
I figured that might be happening.
Okay.
But
But
that's
yeah, I mean,
okay.
you're probably looking at $100 per access point. But
Well, that's
if
not
you're,
terrible.
yeah, so, but if you're looking for, then you need like some of the boxes that go with it. But if you're looking for a solution, which you have going over 3 to 4 acres with all these different cabins and sleeping quarters, as you mentioned, and it was just a beautiful place on the lake. You didn't even invite me. It sounded so nice. I would have loved to have come. No, is that you want to take a look at this Ubiquity again? It's Ubiquity Unify System. It's when really, folks, when you have this type of setup and the mesh network just isn't quite doing it, you want to take a look at a different solution. And if you want to see some photos exactly of what we had set up, again, just search for Ubiquity over at Komando.com with a K, of course. Now, I know you're in Maine. I couldn't follow the storyline of Stephen King's It. There are too many main characters. Oh, all right, back to the phones we go. Jeff in Casper, Wyoming. Hello there, Jeff.
Well, I have got an iMac, and I don't do much browsing on the internet, maybe 4 or 5 news sites that I look at. And I'm getting on these news sites some ads that pop up, and they are very extremely intimate, women's clothing and other items that I really can't talk about. But they show back up on, several of the websites. They're just regular ads. So I've got a VPN on my computer. I blocked my cookies, doesn't do any good. I'm just looking for a way to be able to stop these ads because they don't apply to me. I've never searched for anything, even remotely near this.
Yeah, unfortunately, the ad networks, they may assume that you might be interested in something like that. And a lot of these ads,
No.
you're right, they are offensive and they are that way to attract attention because, let's face it, sex sells most of the time, except when you don't want it to sell to you, right? So there are ways that you can block ads, and you will block ads on web pages. And there's a paid program called AdGuard, and it works on Mac. You said you had an iMac, correct?
Correct, yes.
Okay, so it works on Mac, Android, as well as Windows. And what it will do is it will block ads. You can also get rid of any trackers or analytic systems. It helps you protect your data. You can also browse anonymously on the internet. But the big thing is that this ad blocking is going to be unnoticeable background filtering and processing. So what you will see are pages with just the content that you want to see. And again, it's over at adguard.com. Once again, that's adguard.com. It's $5.50 a month. And if you're looking for a free solution that may not be as robust, is that there's a program that's free. It's called AdBlock Plus. Once again, that's adblockplus.org. It supports all the major popular browsers. So again, adguard.com or adblockplus.org. But I think you're going to find more of the flexibility that you're looking for in the AdGuard. And again, that's over at adguard.com. Jeff, thanks for your call. I appreciate you getting through. If you're not getting the current podcast, you're missing out. Take Me on a Walk. You're going to love it. It's not just me. Andrew's there too, where we talk about things that are in the current newsletter that maybe we just can't cover in the current newsletter and don't have time to do here on the show. So wherever you get your podcast, just search for Komando with a K. Make sure that you get the current podcast. And you can also see the video version. It's a lot of fun at youtube.com/Kim Komando. Still to come, how you can shop international sites to save some money here on the Kim Komando Show. Okay, a friend of mine who lives in California wanted to rent a car in the UK. So she was quoted like $900 for 4 days. You may have heard me talk about this. She used a VPN to say she was in the UK, and suddenly that number dropped to $350. It's super easy to do. With your VPN, you just say that you're somewhere else. And you can use this trick other ways. You can use international versions of the sites like Amazon, Nike, or Zora. I've seen laptops priced a lot lower on Amazon Japan than Amazon USA. Just something to keep in mind.